So lately I've been thinking about adding a backpack to my motorcycle luggage setup. And after the hours of obligatory internet research, I've settled on these 4 bags as ones that might be able to meet my specific needs. And I wanted to share my thoughts with you in case this is helpful, since some of this information was hard to find on the internet. And this is not going to be a deep dive into any of these bags. There are plenty of videos and articles for each one of them out there on the web. Rather, this is going to be a comparison of these bags on a few key attributes that are important to me and might be important to you. So my key criteria are 1, a chest harness for improved all-day comfort compared to the traditional shoulder straps. 2, a bag that's kind of compact. I don't have a ton to carry, and I don't want a lot of backpack behind me on a long day of riding. Number 3 is I'd like to have minimum impact on airflow because I spent a good bit of money on my mesh riding gear and I don't want a backpack that will obstruct all that airflow. 4, and this is perhaps a somewhat unique requirement for me, but I'm looking for a nice large Beavertail that would be large enough to accommodate my Skydio drone. And then finally, and this is a nice to have, some waterproofing would be nice. So with those criteria in mind, let's meet the contenders. From right to left, we have the KLIM Arsenal 15, the slightly smaller KLIM Knac Pak, the Kriega Trail 9, and the USWE Airborne 15-liter bag. Now, you can see right away that the Kriega is a little bit of the outlier in the group here at only 9 liters of rated capacity. To be fair, Kriega does make an 18-liter version of this pack, but I gave myself a hard cutoff at 15 liters. Not to mention that 18-liter version costs over $250, which is almost twice the price of many of the bags on the table here. The other thing to point out is that the USWE, while it's listed as being a 15-liter bag, there's no way I think that's true, because it cannot fit anywhere near the amount of volume compared to the Arsenal 15 or even the 13-liter Knac Pak. In real world, it can probably accommodate about the same amount of stuff as the Kriega Trail 9. Now, if you are just looking for something to carry water and maybe some snacks in, then the USWE may be the bag for you, because it is quite a bit more compact and quite a bit lighter than any of the other bags on the table. All right, let's start with the harness. All 4 bags have a chest harness system that does not require a belt strap. They are all very solid. They don't move around. I would say that the USWE and the Arsenal 15 are maybe just 1 notch above the rest in this category. The USWE, they have this no dancing monkey system, and I would say it really lives up to its name. I mean, this bag is rock solid. It does not move pretty much at all, perhaps because it comes from a mountain bike pedigree, and stability is important there, but really a great mounting system. The Arsenal 15 is not quite as snug, but it has this interesting feature that we'll come back to, which is sort of this external frame, and that creates a 3rd weight-bearing point on the lower back to help distribute the weight, and it's very comfortable and also very solid. The other 2 bags are also great. They're perhaps just 1 notch below, but there are no bad bags here in terms of the harness system. So the next category is looking for that sweet spot of functionality and compactness, if you will. And I'm going to test each of these bags with the same payload, which consists of a 3-liter hydration pack, my admittedly overstuffed first aid kit, and my rain shell. So let's start with the Kriega Trail 9. It is very compact, as you would expect, being the lowest rated bag in terms of volume on the table. But it is a little bit too small. Once you get the hydration pack in there, there's really not a ton of room for anything else. So if you want to carry, more stuff, you're probably going to be looking at the bigger brother, the 18-liter version of this bag. The USWE 15 is also very compact, but it's supposed to be a 15-liter bag. But once I get the hydration pack in there and the first aid kit, let's say maybe 5-6 liters altogether, that bag is full. The rain shell has to go into the Beavertail. And at that point, the bag becomes sort of overstuffed. It becomes uncomfortable to wear. It's pulling at the chest harness. It's not as stable. So, 15 liters, I'm really not sure. If you're really just looking for something to carry water in and some snacks and a small toolkit, I think this bag may be just fine for you. Moving on to the Knac Pak, this is quite a bit of a step up in terms of volume relative to the first 2 bags. It's about 15% larger than the USWE in terms of the footprint. And you can see it's also quite a bit wider, or deeper, I should say. And so this bag easily accommodates the 3 test articles with plenty of room to spare. Now, Is it compact? I wouldn't say so. In fact, this is probably about as big of a bag as I'd be willing to wear for a long day on the bike. And then finally, we have the Arsenal 15. This is the biggest in terms of rated volume. It's only about 10% bigger than the Knac Pak in terms of the footprint, but it feels even bigger than that. And I think it's because maybe the materials on this bag are a little bit less sturdy compared to the Knac Pak, so it kind of flops about and feels bigger than it is. The other thing to point out is that while this is supposed to be a couple liters bigger than the Knac Pak, because it has that interior frame, which is fantastic in terms of stability and ventilation, but from a volume perspective, it eats up volume inside the bag. And so really these two bags probably carry about the same amount of volume. If anything, maybe the Knac Pak actually carries more, even though it's rated a little bit lower. And when it comes to ventilation, I think there's actually two factors to consider. One is how much airflow is obstructed at the front, and the other one is how much ventilation there is at the back. So in terms of the front, the USWE and the Kriega have very simple straps at the front with minimum airflow obstruction. The Knac Pak has these chest pockets at the front, and even though they're fretted, I do think they will obstruct some airflow. And in an ADV setting, they're not very practical because you're probably wearing a jacket that already has front pockets. So this is just another layer to obstruct airflow. The Arsenal actually has the same pockets, but they're a little bit bigger, which a lot of people are touting as an upgraded feature because now you can actually fit a modern-sized cell phone in this pocket. But again, I'd rather carry my stuff in the chest pockets of my jacket and not have that extra layer of interference with airflow. Now, on the rear, the Arsenal is the clear winner because of that interior frame and mesh, which keeps the bag completely off of your back and allows air to circulate, keeps your back from getting sweaty. None of the other bags have this. The other bags do have some sort of channeling. All of them have some sort of channeling on the back. Of these, I think the USWE has the deepest and probably most effective channeling, and then the Knac Pak and the Kriega are about even. Okay, let's talk Beavertails. So all four backpacks have Beavertails, all of them, but the Kriega will accommodate my drone. Now, the Kriega has an excellent Beavertail. It's this Hypalon mesh, very elasticated and expandable. It'll fit a lot of stuff in there. The mesh allows air to circulate so you can keep something wet or damp back there and it'll dry off over time as you're riding. So the only issue is very particular to me. It will not fit the Skydio 2 drone in there. But unless that's a consideration for you, it's an excellent Beavertail. What about waterproofing? Well, the Kriega is the only one that's truly waterproof with this roll top compartment. It's not huge, but you could probably get a few small items in there, and it will be truly waterproof. The Arsenal is not waterproof, but it does come with a rain cover, so you can make it waterproof in a pinch if you get caught in an unexpected storm, and that's really nice. The Knac Pak, even though it's probably going to use the same rain cover as the Arsenal, it doesn't come with one, and you can't really buy it as an accessory. So you'd have to source something off of Amazon or something like that, a rain cover for a generic small backpack, but I'm sure that's something you'd be able to find. And then the USWE is not waterproof either. It does have a small waterproof pocket for maybe documents or something else that's small that you don't want getting wet, but not waterproof. So finally, let's talk special features. So the Knac Pak is really chock full of a lot of cool little features. It has this hard shell goggle case. Now, I don't wear goggles, but it's also a great spot to stash sensitive camera equipment or electronics or anything else you want to protect a little bit. It has these really cool lash down points on the sides. The bag comes from the snowmobiling world, and so originally these lash down points were meant for snow shovel handles. But you can also use them for tent poles or a tripod, so really useful. It also comes with this really nice waterproof toolkit. Now, I have other places on my bike where I'm going to keep my tools, so I'm not going to use it for that, but you could probably come up with a number of other great uses for this piece, and it's just a nice little bonus. It does not come with a water bladder, at least the version I got. That's perfect for me because I have a bunch of spare water bladders, but if you want one, you can pay $30 and you will get a nice baffled 3-liter water bladder in the box. As I already mentioned, it does not have the rain cover, and KLIM doesn't sell one for this bag, which is a shame. Moving on to the Arsenal, it does not have the hard shell compartment. It does not have those lash down points. It does come with a water bladder, and it does come with that same toolkit that the Knac Pak comes with, and it does come with the Rainfly, which is, again, nice. And its ultimate special skill, again, is that exterior frame and mesh design, which is really great for keeping the air circulating and keeping your back from getting really sweaty. The Kriega is pretty basic. It's basically 2 compartments. One of them is waterproof, plus the Hypalon mesh, and that's about it. It does not come with a water bladder, which at this price point I think is kind of criminal. Not much more to say about that bag. And the USWE is also fairly basic. It comes with the standard pockets and compartments the backpacks come with. It does come with a nice hydration bladder, but that's about it. Finally, a word on fit and finish and durability. Now, I can only speak to what I can see and feel with my hands in terms of materials, since I haven't owned these backpacks for any meaningful amount of time. I will say that the Kriega appears to be the most bomb-proof of the backpacks. I'm pretty sure it will outlast you. Just heavy-duty Cordura, heavy-duty ripstop, just really well put together. The Knac Pak is probably the second most rugged. It's got some pretty heavy materials, but a lot more ripstop here versus the Cordura here. And then the Arsenal and the USWE, they are both made of sort of lighter materials, perhaps completely fit for purpose, and they might last a very long time, but they're just clearly not as robust as the Kriega and the Knac Pak. And the last thing I guess I'll say is that the zippers on all the backpacks seem to be of high quality, so that wouldn't be a concern. So that's about it. I hope you found it interesting. If you did, consider liking or subscribing, and I invite you to check out some of the ride documentaries on the channel. And otherwise, see you next time.